You probably saw my video where I had just purchased a Champion 3400 watt inverter generator. I've had the chance to break it in. It's had 5 hours of runtime. So far I'm quite satisfied with it. At the end of the season I'll talk a little bit more about that. For right now, 5 hours means that it's time to do the first oil change. They recommend you break in the generator with 5 hours and then do the oil change. After that, it's every 100 hours. So you're going to need a few things. First of all, you're going to need a slotted screwdriver. You're also going to need a Robertson screwdriver. Now, you'll notice that's a Phillips screwdriver. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver, not a Robertson. You're going to need a few more things too. You're going to need a socket. A 12 millimeter will do it. And yes, that's a 12 millimeter. You're also going to need an extension. All of these things are useless without the ratchet. These are some of the essential things, but now you're going to need a few more things as well. First of all, you're going to be doing an oil change, so you're going to need oil. Now, for a generator, they recommend 10W30. I believe in the initial generator video that I did, I said I would be switching to synthetic after the initial break-in period. You can't use synthetic for the break-in period. I'm using regular motor oil, regular 10W30, because I bought 2 bottles instead of 1. So I will be switching to synthetic. Now, the next thing that you're going to need is a funnel. There you go. So now we've got a funnel. Now, if you're like me and you're not an auto mechanic and you're just a weekend warrior, I don't do oil changes, so I don't have all the fancy stuff. So here's a couple of other things that you're going to need. A couple of plastic bottles are going to be needed because, well, if you don't have all the proper equipment, you got to collect the motor oil somehow. To cut those, you're going to need a knife. Any sort of X-Acto knife or you know, a utility knife is perfect. To make it easier, before you can do this, you're going to have to prop up the generator, lift it up off the ground, so a couple of blocks. That's everything we need. Next step, let's get started. So now that we're all ready, I want to introduce my grandson Gavin.
Hi.
What I want to do here is I want to show you this is so easy that even a 10-year-old can do it.
I'm 11.
An 11-year-old. Now that we've got everything we need, let's get started. I've turned the generator around because the access panel is on the back. First thing you need is a Phillips screwdriver because you have to take these screws off. Now, I mentioned that you could also use a slotted screwdriver. The slotted screwdriver will fit in there as well. I prefer to use the Phillips because it fits in there better, but you need a nice big one. Put the screws to the side so you don't lose them. Sometimes the panel doesn't come off very easily, so you could probably put a screwdriver in there and pop it out if you needed to. Once you've got the back cover on, you can see everything that you need to see. First of all, you've got a drain plug. That's where the oil is going to be coming out. But if you look inside here right now, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to fill the bottom of this. So there's a plug on the bottom, a little rubber plug. You can pull that off, get it out of the way. Now you've got an access panel. Now, I showed you a couple of plastic bottles. These bottles can be used to collect the oil. If you have an oil pan, great. But if you have an oil pan, you've probably done lots of oil changes and you're not watching this video anyways. If you're still watching this video, you're like me. With my knife, I cut a little opening in the one bottle. I can now stick it under here. It's going to catch the oil and it's going to drain into the other bottle. Nice and easy. So while Gavin holds the one bottle underneath the opening, where the oil is going to drain out of, he's got the other bottle there ready to collect the oil as it comes out. So I'm going to take the oil cap off, the oil plug. So first time taking it off, it's a little bit stiff. So Gavin's going to hold that. All the oil is going to drain out and it's going to go into the other bottle. Never do an oil change while the engine is hot. Let it cool down way before you do this. Now that all the oil is drained out, take your bottle and cap it off to make sure that the oil doesn't spill. There, that part is done, but when you get rid of that oil, check the regulations in your area. You may have to find a way to get rid of it. You can't just throw it in the garbage. Now that the oil is all drained out, we're going to clean off this spot where the oil plug goes in. Make sure it's nice and clean. Now we're going to put the oil plug back in. Give it a bit of a snug up. You don't want to do it too tight, you don't want to strip the threads, but you want to make sure it's in there pretty good. Clean up your mess. Now we're going to put some more oil in. To do that, your fill spout here, that's going to have to come off. Now that I've got the drain plug in, it's time to put some more oil in it. So we're going to take the cap off. Now, take a look at the cap and you can see that that's also your gauge as to how much oil goes in there. We're going to set that off to the side. Now we're going to use the same funnel that I had when I first got this. It's a perfect funnel for the job. So we're going to put that in there. Go ahead. And we're going to start putting some oil in it.
Here, I'll do that.
So my assistant's going to put the oil in and he's going to do it very slowly. If you pour it in too fast, even if you don't have too much in there, you're still going to wind up having it backflow and you're going to spill it all over. Pour a little bit more. Take it right down. While you're filling it, every once in a while, check the level, make sure it's not over full. So to check the oil level, just take your dipstick and put it in. Go ahead. Don't tighten it down. You just want to put it in there and hold it up against the threads. And then take it out. Now, when you check the level, a good thing to remember is never hold it like this because the oil will drip down and you'll think you have too much. Now, I saw it when it first came out. I don't have enough in there yet. So now we're going to put some more oil in. Go ahead. Start pouring. So we've added some more oil. Let's check again. We're going to put the dipstick in there and see how much we have in. Go ahead. Just do it. Pull it out and keep it down. Pointing down. There. Now I can see we got just enough in there. So go ahead and put the cap on and we're going to close it up. Once you've got the cap on and tight, make sure you give it a good twist, but you only want it hand tight. You don't want to strip the threads. That's pretty much it for the oil change. The only thing you want to do, make sure you put the cap back in here so nothing leaks out. And before you seal everything up, give everything a really good wipe. You don't want any oil on the engine. The first time you start it up, it's going to smell really bad. All we have to do now is reassemble. So from here, all we have to do is seal things up. Put your lid on. Grab your screws, put your screws in there. Start off doing them finger tight. Now that you've got them on finger tight, go ahead and tighten them up.
And that's all there is to it.
Nice and easy, right?
Right.
I hope this was interesting and informative. If it was, hit the subscribe.
Make sure to like.
And don't forget, what's the last thing?
Don't forget to hit that notification bell.
There you go. See you next time.